Alright guys, welcome back to Frugal Homestead. You're going to have to bear with me today as I'm starting to lose my voice. So, wanted to get with you guys and bring you an update on our garden. Now, obviously, we show when things don't go the way they're supposed to go, and it's been a rough year for our garden, as it basically got decimated by animals eating everything. But luckily, we still have pulled off some wins. So one of our biggest wins is our berry plants. These things have produced and continue to produce. As you can see, my beautiful wife is still picking. Honey, where are we at so far on the totals of the berry?
So far we've already picked 8 gallons, and I'll probably get at least another 1.5 gallons off today.
So as you can see, it just keeps producing. It does not stop. It's really coming to the point now where we are freezing solid berries in bags rather than actually processing it. Now, I did make 2.5 gallons of berry wine, which is a very tart but dry wine. And we also did a lot of freezer jam, which we will make a video explaining how that's made later. But it's just a really fast and condensed way to go ahead and make some jelly, put it in the freezer, and have it for year-round use. Now, let's go on to the next part of the garden that's producing for us. So here in the actual garden where I ended up mowing it all down, this strife of zucchini plants survived and has been on a continuous production for us. Now the deer are starting to pick at it, but it hasn't gotten real bad yet. Now, looking in, there's zucchinis that are becoming ready by the day. So we just continually come out here and pick 1 or 2 every day or 2 and eat them like side dishes. Making them in the air fryer, sandwiches. But you'll just find a few in and out here and there. As it rains, they produce more, obviously. But as you can see, they are just making a continuous crop. And you can't complain about a continuous crop of zucchini in your garden. So here in our upper garden, we did some fencing off to try to keep animals out. Now our tomatoes here are starting to come on, so we will be getting late season tomatoes from them. Now we do have a whole bunch of zucchini in here, and actually had some of our cucumbers start coming up, but something has gotten in and started eating on them, as well as over here started eating on some of the zucchini plants. So we're not sure if we've got a deer that's jumping the fences or something going through the fences, but we're probably going to have to tighten up this area to make sure that this crop comes through, because this is going to be our late season crop, and we should be hopefully keeping us eating all the way through the fall. So here's our Comfrey Patch, and if you see how laid down everything is, this is why we think it's a deer. Because we think a deer is coming in here and bedding down at night. I don't know why. But I can't think of any other reason this stuff would be laid down the way it is, unless they are somehow walking through here trying to get over to the garden. But it's clearly been laid down pretty hard. Something's going on, and whatever animal is eating the garden is what's laying down the comfrey. Alright, and on to Missys tomato plant that's been producing all year. It's actually doing pretty decent. We do have some bends in the plant, which is starting to strain it. And as it gets bigger, it seems like it wants to slow down production, but it is still producing some pretty nice tomatoes. And I tell you, this thing actually tastes really good. These are some really good tomatoes. Now, we could push it some more, but I've kind of decided not to give it any more comfrey or to put any more layers of compost on. We're just going to let it finish out its season now, because it has so much working on it. I don't want to add any more green foliage off of it. And we even have let the grapes start to shade it some. Now, the grapes are producing small amounts, but we are using the leaves for some recipes So I don't really mess with picking anything off of it too much. Mostly our dogs come through and pull them off and eat them. So another thing that's been producing pretty well for us this year is the raspberries. So our raspberries are having their second season right now. And honestly, they taste amazing. To me, the second season always produces a better crop. But that said, they don't produce as many in the second season. But we're still early in it. So right now we're picking enough to where almost every night we've got enough that we can put some in with a little fat-free vanilla yogurt and make like a dessert. So that's pretty much all we need, honestly. We have so much berry production, it's almost like we don't really want to can or put any more away than what we're doing at the moment. That's why we're freezing full berries to make pies and stuff later. The raspberries are more of a thing where we want to eat them on demand. Every night for dinner is fine with us. So the blackberries have been producing solid form for a while now. And these are the big ones. And it's come to a point where they're finishing their season, but they don't realize their season's finished. It's still trying to make more berries. This is the benefit to using compost and comfrey in your beds rather than chemical fertilizers, is the plants want to continually grow. But unfortunately, your plants want to overdo it. Look at the size of that. I mean, realistically, I don't have any real complaints. The plants have produced wild amounts of fruit and they're delicious. But it is hard on the canes, and you'll see them turn brown and start to die out because they've been pushed so hard. So generally what we'll do is we will cut those off and the plant will shoot up new ones. We will weave it in the fence and then it will produce better next year. But if we were to leave the dead canes, it actually does affect it and makes it so it doesn't want to grow as much the next year. Some people say that decreases the cycle life of the plants. We have not found that at all. In fact, we find that they like to have multiple stalks. And it just self-regulates by killing off the ones that are no good to allow new ones to come up. So as you can see, our garden's still producing. Obviously, it's a learning year because we realize now that wildlife has got to such a point around here that they have reduced areas to feed, so they're coming into the gardens for easy access for food. We no longer can go without heavy fencing, and obviously we've already said we're going to make those changes. But for what we have going on, I really can't complain. We are putting away food for the winter. That's a plus. We are offsetting our food bill as we speak. That's another plus. And the reality is, the food we're eating obviously is all organic, true organic. And you really can't put a price on that. Now obviously, it's not what we wanted, it's not what we intended. We put in a lot of work this year to get what we did get. And hopefully it will continue to provide for us for the rest of the fall. But sometimes we need to bring this to you guys so you can see that this happens to everybody. Believe you're gonna have bad years. Believe you're gonna have times that you have to learn and improve. This is just us showing you that it happens to us too. But with that said, if you haven't already, go down and join the family by hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you hit notification bell turned on so you see all of our upcoming videos. And with that said, honey,
we will see you in the next one.